There are two parts to the gospel text of today. And the first part is where Mark tells us about the teaching of Jesus. Mark makes a statement by saying the teaching of Jesus made a deep impression on the people because he taught with authority. What does Mark mean when he says that Jesus taught with authority? Where did Jesus get this authority from? At the time of Jesus, there were different rabbis and teachers, and each got their authority from a different source. The lawyers would get their authority because they knew the law like no one else knew the law. So they were able to communicate and interpret the law for others, and so were employed in the legal profession. Another group was a group which was privileged by birth and could get their authority because they had been born into a priestly family. They had been born into a high-class family, and so they got their authority from birth. Jesus was not a lawyer, so he could not get his authority from merely knowledge of the law. He was not born into a royal family or a priestly family. Jesus got his authority very clearly from his baptism. Later on in the gospel, when Jesus is asked a question about his authority, he points back to his baptism by John because that is the place where he got his authority from. At that time, the Father's voice spoke from heaven and invited him to be son and to communicate this message. And that is exactly what Jesus was doing. Because his teaching was always matched by his actions, because there was never a word that Jesus spoke which was also not a true action. Mark follows this statement by telling us that the teaching made a deep impression on the people with the first miracle in his gospel. And the first miracle in the Gospel of Mark that we will hear about today is an exorcism of a man who was possessed by demons. There is one demon in the man from the context, but the demons use the plural us when they ask Jesus, "Why have you come here, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us?" How is it possible, and why do the demons use the plural us when later on the demons uses the singular me and I? Because the coming of Jesus is not merely the exorcism of one demon. It means the exorcism of the entire demonic world. The demons know, the negative forces know, the evil forces know that with the coming of Jesus, their entire kingdom is now going to be destroyed. The kingdom which the demons proclaim is a kingdom of selfishness. The kingdom which the demons proclaim is a kingdom of self-centeredness, where accumulation becomes all important, where gathering becomes all important, where the focus is on having more rather than on being more. That kingdom, Jesus says, is going to be destroyed. The kingdom where authority is domination, the kingdom where authority is giving orders, is a kingdom that is going to be destroyed. The kingdom that Jesus inaugurates, and the kingdom which the demons are therefore afraid of, is the kingdom which Jesus brings through his teaching and his action, a kingdom of selflessness, a kingdom of service, a kingdom of love. And that is why at the end of the miracle, which is an exorcism, the people respond by calling this exorcism a new teaching. The old teaching asked us to focus only on ourselves. The old teaching asks us to be self-centered and selfish. Now, this new teaching which Jesus has come and inaugurated is a kingdom which asks us to go out of ourselves and to be for the other. There are many demons which possess us today. The demons of selfishness, the demons of self-centeredness, the demons of accumulation and having more. It is those demons which the Lord can exorcise if we let Him. If we open our hearts to His grace, then selfishness and the demon of selfishness is replaced by the Lord of selflessness. If we open our hearts to His grace, then the demon of accumulation and having more is replaced by the angel and the Lord of serving and giving more. Will I let the Lord exorcise these demons from my life?